This is a geothermal energy plant which is now supplying 62% of the primary energy in Iceland. And since Iceland is like the master of geothermal technology, of course it is because of its geographical advantages that it has. And this is a graph that it shows what it uses this geothermal energy for, right? For me, personally, like the one that was most surprising was that 44.6% is for space heating and all those other things that I didn't know that you need energy to actually use. But I guess since it's an icy place, they have to like use all of this. But the one that I want to focus on is the one they're using like the largest piece, the 44.6 space heating. I'll talk mostly about this European crisis. I know most people are not in Europe and they don't understand what's going on, but this applies to everyone. I'm using this crisis because it's the current one that we're going through. It's affecting everyone, and I'm more interested in like what solutions they come up with to this problem that we implement ourselves. As someone that actually grew up with no electricity, I'm interested in the infrastructures and the energy that they come up with, so that we look at that and put it to like our neighborhoods and everything. As Russia has closed out these pipes, right, like you can see on the map, these pipes were supplying the power to Europe and which was being used for this space heating. If there's no space heating from Russia, they have to look to somewhere else. If there's no homes, people are starting to buy up these heaters. But really, with this energy problem that we have right now, should they be buying heaters? Because it's pricey, man. It's very, very costly. And lately, energy companies have been making bank like crazy. Like companies in America and the European countries that create these technologies like have been making more money because there's more demand in other countries actually hoarding their oil to sell it at a higher price. But the good thing about the increase in prices for energy, there's been more ordering of clean energy than ever before. Solar powers and everything else have been more ordered by other governments because they see this is the alternative that we have to use right now because they have no choice. But with geothermal energy, it has been tested by multiple countries, but of course the master of it, we've mentioned it, its geological advantages. Since it sits on top of an active volcano, it has multiple hotspots of where you can find geothermal energy. Look at the graph, you can see all what's happening right now. So this is where we drill. So if we drill, we find these rivers underground, and these rivers will be like heated up by the magma. Since it's Iceland, we find these hot rivers everywhere. So the steam will increase from this hot river to the turbine, and then turning the turbine, creating electricity. So once it's turned into electricity, this condenser actually like returns steam back into water, and the water is returned to the river or the well or whatever it's underground, right? So this whole process is recyclable. So it's a circle that can't be like stopped. This one is the most interesting one because it's like the first one that they actually did in Iceland, where you have this power and you just try to recycle this water and you heat it up using the heat that's done by the earth, right? This doesn't have to be in like these type of hot spots that we find that we have mentioned with the rings of fire or whatever, but it can be done anywhere because the solar heat, if it's hot, it traps this heat, and if it's trapped this heat, we can actually take advantage of it with this type of, that's what they've been doing in Iceland for a long time, but we can actually do this in our own home. So we'll see what type of technologies they can come up with in Europe to try to solve this problem, because not all European countries have this type of rings of fire as we've suggested with this map. As you can see, there are not many places except maybe here. What's this? I don't know, is it England? No, England is here. But as you can see, like most of Europe doesn't have this type of tectonic plates. This graph, you can look at it and how it has increased the installation of like geothermal plants all over the world, right? Like since 2004 to 2010, and now it has increased even more. But it can be expensive to implement or install these geothermal plants because we're not yet clear on how we can find these rivers underground or whatever. Sometimes you can drill and find nothing, and so much money has already been wasted. Since we don't have the privilege that Iceland has, we have to be accurate and find these hotspots that actually have this magma and hot rivers, right? Apart from that, we're glad that multiple countries like Indonesia, the United States have already started, and they're growing this type of initiative to find more and more of these hotspots. Iceland itself is exporting its experts to help these other countries and companies find these hotspots, since they're the experts of them, right? So why am I doing this video? So European crisis and everything aside, like, but it's like personally I wanted to do an energy video because we're just out of winter, but it's still cold because it's raining now, but we're out of that winter crisis and everything. So every year we have these deaths, fires, because people don't have space heating like in Iceland and other countries. So we definitely need this type of energy to help us heat our homes. Already 4 homes in my neighborhood like burnt up this winter, like 12 people died. And if 12 people is not enough motivation to actually find a solution to what we can do about winter problems or whatever, I know Europe, as the northern hemisphere, is getting into winter, and if they find their solutions on this problem, maybe we can implement them in a couple of years and we can reduce the number of deaths. I'm sure there are way more people that died during this winter because it's a recurring thing. It happens every year, and now we are done. I think with these smart people around we can find something out, but this is not the only video. Comment below what type of energy you want to see us use, and what's the next video. Tell me.